It's hard to tell if she's moving.
Is the clock cooking up?
Yeah.
It is, but the image obviously is not being. Right? Like when you move
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, now it's me.
Okay. This is glitchy.
Okay.
Glitchy for a second. I'll check on my phone to see if I can see it.
Is my phone too big?
Just, I guess it's probably the case.
You're very brave.
Oh, and it's not centered in the phone, so heavy.
I mean, we got it. All right, I'm gonna get everybody the program. Do you want to move?
Uh-huh.
So for tonight's program, it's online to save paper. So I do have a QR code for anyone that wants to see the Shabbat program with the yahrzeit list.
Or you can put it under us and get rain. My butt is very covering. Plenty of coverage.
You can see us and sit. Good.
You know, I never checked out the Burlington, the website you gave me for the oldest Jewish cemetery in the United States, west of Mississippi, which I still believe it is, but I never checked out that website.
Are you talking about one that's west of the
It's Burlington, Iowa, and it's the west of Mississippi. It's the oldest one there.
I thought the oldest one was in like Charleston.
The oldest one west of the Mississippi was
Got it. I know. That's exactly what John said.
I don't know if these have flower tortillas or. That's why I brought you.
Thank you.
I'm moving slowly. All set? Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So Shabbat program, his yahrzeit list, and which I know is probably what you said. I also brought up paper copies. Just need a minute? Okay, I'll get you the paper. Do you want the Shabbat program class?
No, thank you.
Okay.
This is so smart.
I did bring a few paper copies. Anybody really wants to?
Yes. That baby thing is it so I've now got to go get the zipper.
I was gonna make a onesie, and the pattern I got just has too many cheap things. And especially the feet. It's a footless one, but it comes on a diagonal. So the increases in the right leaning and the left leaning, and it's like,
You're the reader.
I'm just and I had seen earlier.
I didn't put my babies in my coffee.
Soft yarn baby sweaters so that they're lightweight, and since baby's been going God willing in June,
Hey, what
I
happened?
thought that would be a nice thing to do.
Yes, I think so.
So that's
Getting like a super one.
yeah. I got it at actually Fiddlesticks.
Perfect.
So that's going to be my travel and convention because I decided this other one was just cheap.
It's a great idea.
I can cut a onesie out of fabric.
Yes.
Yeah. Not with my tiny knit. When I bought one from
Never too early.
well, that's what I thought.
Stephanie, do you have a strong signal?
Strong enough to even put on the live.
Whoa,
I'm live and I'm live.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Great.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
How nice to see you. Back home.
Where are you going?
I'm just so happy the snow is
Go
over.
put one back
Here I
on the
am.
pile there, on the table. Thank you.
Very
Mark, can I take that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, sweet. Perfect. Okay, look up. I'm going to take a picture that way. Because I'm going to take a picture for Ari.
Remind me, which day is the day?
For the baby. But they're convinced for the last appointment that the due date is going to be June 5th.
June 5th? That's my birthday.
Yes. But I don't. They're on their way right now to.
Is she dilated? I mean, I should have known that. That's not what that's
Nothing. But this has all been about science. Because it's a ideal series. So they know exactly the date of. And they've been doing all these measurements based on the size of the baby, the placement of the baby, blah blah blah. That the last appointment checkup they said June 5th. So I'll bring it over here. Okay, I'm sure that I never thought of that. It'll be beautiful and God willing healthy. Which is the only thing I care.
Yeah. I am. I could be working at the research center.
And it could also be June 25th.
When I was pregnant with our oldest, I remember my stepmother said to me, Leslie, this is the one thing in life you can't control, when the baby will come.
For me, when I was pregnant with my first, every single one of them did because I got bad readings or tests.
You just don't test it. It's a lifelong.
Apparently. So, but it was so well known that by the time I was 6 months pregnant, the midwife would say, schedule 2 days for any test.
That's so funny.
So finally, when I was finally in labor, one of the midwives calls in, checking out, who's there, but help follow this one. Oh my goodness, match your outfits. Oh my goodness, two big boys tonight. Really? So I won't be here for the meeting. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I have a cousin who teaches film
But I also
and my good friend Fran Kaplan, who's the co-founder of American Black Holocaust Museum, is now moved to Madison.
perfect. Yay, Harrison.
We brought her to the Freedom Seder, and she got up and she said, for any of your insomniacs
Nice
like
to see you
me,
here.
you can watch it online if you don't get it. And she said, you probably all think
Crazy.
that the first lynching was in Mississippi, but it actually was in Indiana where she was from, in her small town next to where she lived. She's a social worker. Her mom's a social worker. Mom's a social worker.
I'm sorry.
You happy to be with people without a mask because we're outside?
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen the bottom half of your
No
face.
one has seen my face in the longest.
Right. It's lovely.
Except on Zoom meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's true. I do see them teams.
Yeah, Russell sees me. He wakes up at like 3 in the morning so he can get a glimpse of my nose.
That sounds lovely.
Lovely. He married the nose. It's really beautiful. Whatever's gonna happen, it's gonna happen in the meantime. It's lovely.
I'm Laura. Just here for the summer.
So there were little water bottles?
Yeah, they're up at the table.
I'll go look. Which
Yeah.
table?
Either table, both tables.
Untwisted
Oh,
on your
yeah.
I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, well, thanks to Jeff Levy, who paid all the park fees, all the food for the whole summer. Thank you. That'd be lovely. Yeah, and Rabbi did too. We have a little thing up there that says thanks to Jeff Levy. I took a picture of it and sent it to Jeff.
I'm going to go to the first
Rabbi series. Who is it?
I've never heard him speak, but I was in touch with Paul Bukowski.
Oh, from JSS? He's the first speaker? No.
No. I volunteer at JSS. And basically, he asked me any reminder notes to people.
Yeah, there's nothing up there. Everybody's in the know here. They're waiting to hear of it.
And then his name is Furman. It's Jews in Texas.
Oh, right. I saw that.
And I thought that was interesting. I have a niece who lived in Houston. Who was my first niece.
Make sure the Rabbi knows it's 6 o'clock. There are 2 people on there.
Listen, at Mika's bar mitzvah, I mistakenly gave my nephew Gershon a first aliyah. He came late. We lost. I mean, because reform is so unacceptable.
My favorite used to be when I was in Long Island, when people would come
But I'm not from Indiana.
30 for
For the oneg.
and they'd be the first ones in line to say Mazel Tov to the B'nai Mitzvah and say, oh, you did such a great job. And I, of course,
They never even heard.
standing right there, knew exactly what time they were.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
What a beautiful evening we had, but it's made better that you're here with us in this beautiful place. So before we begin, just want to first of all invite people to let the sounds of nature, let the sounds of our own voices really enliven this moment. As we enter Shabbat, there are things that we do to give ourselves strength and courage and respite from the week gone by and hope for the week in the future. And so all of those things may be present in our minds as we just relax and glide easily into this day of rest. We welcome our in-person congregation. We welcome those folks who are online with us tonight. We're so glad to be able to try to meld together these two congregations. If you're online, you can click on the link and find a copy of our prayer book and you can find a copy of our program as well. And if you're here, most people seem to have the prayer book, if not everybody. And also, you might have taken a QR code photograph of the program, and you can find that on your mobile devices whenever you choose. But now we just begin with bringing one another together to focus on this moment of the Shabbat that is about to begin. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Tonight, as you can see, we have someone, is a different Bima partner with me tonight, Sydney Fine. We welcome you with us. Cantor Jacob is also singing tonight, but his wonderful choir has a performance, and so tonight he sort of have to be there, but we are here. He sends his greetings and his blessings to us as well. So maybe the spirit of the three of us and the spirit of all of us combined can actually be something that's really good for this Shabbat. One of the things that we do in community is that we elevate one another. We give each other the feeling that we are important, but not that we are important ourselves, but that we help other people to rise in their own sense of personhood, and we hope to be able to give them a sense of themselves that maybe can be better than what they've had. I can tell you as a rabbi, I meet all kinds of individuals, some people who are depressed and some people who have low self-image, and any one of us, even if you don't have a psychology degree or a medical degree or a rabbinic degree, any one of us, any human being can help lift the spirit of another person. It simply takes us with the intention to do that. And so as we enter this Shabbat and as we enter this time of increased light, increased warmth, increased summer in our hearts, always look for those opportunities to bring goodness to other people. And know that the Shabbat, this day of rest that we start, is something that will help preserve us for that mission and that task. I'd like to invite you to turn to page 2 of the Siddur. We begin at the bottom of page 2 tonight with Ki Eshmerah Shabbat, as so if we observe Shabbat, then Shabbat will even preserve us. Eshmerah Shabbat, El Yismerei. Eshmerah Shabbat, El Yismerei. Oti le'ome'ah, beino u'beini. Oti le'ome'ah, beino u'beini. Eshmerah Shabbat, El Yismerei. Eshmerah Shabbat, El Yismerei. Oti le'ome'ah, beino u'beini. Oti le'ome'ah, beino u'beini. want to take just a few moments and ask everyone to look around and see if you see someone whom you do not recognize. And tell yourself that maybe after services, after we're done, maybe you'll go up to that person and engage in a little conversation. Because, and if you're new to Temple Beth El, if you've never been here before, if you don't mind, let us know by raising your hand a little bit. We have a couple of new folks here tonight. And so it's so good to see all of you who are new here. It's wonderful to see all of you in any case. But be sure to take a few moments later on to engage with one another. Enjoy the beautiful weather and enjoy one another's presence as well. I want to invite up here Elijah Blitz. Elijah Blitz, a week from tomorrow morning, is becoming Bar Mitzvah at Temple Beth El. That's at 10:30 in the morning in our sanctuary. But Elijah and Elijah's family are here to help us inaugurate Shabbat. So I want to invite the Blitz family to come as well. Why don't you all stand here, right in front? Well, actually, you stand in front of me. That's okay. You can do that. Out here, and inviting the congregation to turn to page 4 of the Siddur as they will lead us into the candle lighting for this Shabbat evening.
May the rays of these candles cast their glow upon us and bring the radiance of joy to all who dwell in darkness. May our homes be blessed with the spirit of truth and our dear ones with the light of love. May all our days be filled with happiness and achievement, with peace for us and for others, for our family and friends, for all the people of the world.
Let's all sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher tishanim mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Mazel tov, and you may be seated. They'll be back later on to help us with the blessings of fruit of the vine and challah as we end our service. But now we'd like to have you stay on page 4, and we thank God for this beautiful day by singing together Shalom Aleichem, welcoming those angels that help us enjoy the peace of this day. Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malach Kadosh Baruch Hu. Bo'ahem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Archuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. On page 7, second selection from the top, Or Zarua. Light is sown for the righteous. Light is sown for each of us when we have righteousness as our intention and in our heart. Or Zarua, near the top of page 7. Or Zarua, Latzadik, U'Yisrael Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadik, U'Yisrael Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadik, U'Yisrael Simcha. U'Yisrael Simcha. Tzadik U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Or Zarua, La Tzadik, U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. U'Yishrei Lev Simcha. And on page 8 of the Chadodi, also second selection from the top, again, welcoming the bride, welcoming this relationship that Israel has with the Shabbat. This intimate, beautiful relationship by the Chadodi. Second from the top on page 8. Vikrat Kala, Vikrat Kala, Kenei Shabbat, Nekabla, Nekabla, Echadodi, Vikrat Kala, Vikrat Kala, Kenei Shabbat, Nekabla, Nekabla, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorah. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorah. The evening service itself begins here on page 10, and we then ask the congregation to rise as we thank God for being there for us in so much of our lives, and we acknowledge God's unity by also offering Shema. We rise, you're invited to rise for the Baruch and Shema, page 10. Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la. Et Adonai, Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Ma Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shinkevo Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shinkevo Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. On page 11, we read together at the middle of the page. Please join one another. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children or talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to perform all of my sacred obligations so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. I think it's maybe coincidental or maybe interesting and propitious that, that as we began to offer Baruch, we heard the sounds of sirens going by, right? And I say that because sirens indicate helpers who are going on their way to help someone who is in distress. Each of us has that same ability to help someone who's on their way going toward a distressful situation. We may know people who are in need of help, whether it's emotional or physical. We may know someone who needs our ability to elevate them and to raise them from the depths of wherever they are. And so as we encounter people in our lives, we have this ability literally to save them from themselves and maybe even them from some of the things that are happening to them in the world. Inviting you to turn to page 13, we offer Micha Mocha as our way of thanking God for saving us and for giving us our saving, our redemption so long ago from Egypt and encouraging us to give redemption to other people. Top of 13. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Kamocha ba'eli Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi kamocha ba'eli Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Torah tehilot, osei elef. Torah tehilot, osei elef. Adonai imlot leolam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Our ancestors used to be afraid of going into the night. They didn't know what would happen to them. Maybe they didn't understand truly what darkness was. Maybe they did, and they knew that sometimes bad things happen to people at night. So they composed a prayer seeking divine protection for them as they go into this night. That is Hashkivenu on page 14. We're going to do version 2 tonight. The Hebrew first, and then look at version 2. Siveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamideinu shomreinu l'chayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamideinu shomreinu l'chayim. The tefillah is always our opportunity to withdraw a little bit and think about those things that are most important to us. And in this summer tefillah, in this summer prayer book, we've abbreviated our tefillah in print to give us really the ability to enter into our own minds and think, what is it that we need to pray about? What is it that we are asking ourselves or asking of God or asking of our nation or the community to do for us? So the tefillah will begin with communal participation, and then we'll offer our own private prayers. When we rise for the tefillah, please feel free to remain standing or sit whenever you need to, whenever you want to. But we're not going to give too many stage directions for the tefillah. But we do invite you to rise on page 15 as we begin the tefillah. Sebatitah ufi agiteni latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, and my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Ha'akol, Vezoher Hasei Avot V'Ima'ot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Mageh, Baruch atah Adonai, Mageh Avraham, Ezrat Sarah. On page 16, we continue together at the top. Please join one another. We find pathways to holiness in all that we do, in all the challenges we experience in our lives. We can find sanctity when we overcome personal shortcomings or help others to do the same. We can discover holiness in the soul of each person with whom we share this world. We find holiness in the laugh offered with exultant joy and in a tear shed in intimate anguish. We find sanctity in the workings of the mind, in the creativity that propels and elevates humanity, in the nobility of spirit and in acts of courage. We find sanctity in each act of redemption, in bringing an end to the oppression of gender, racial, and religious cruelty, and in empowering all people to rise to their highest possible level of accomplishment. We embrace holiness when we offer gratitude for practical blessings, for the abundance of our planet's resources, and for the presence of the divine in our everyday lives. We continue quietly. Page 17. Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri. We go Ali, we go Ali. Rivka was a very fine person. She was not wealthy, but she had a good neshama, a good soul. And she lived with Haskell, her husband of many years. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm sorry. That's just, I'll stay within a little range here. And she lived with Haskell, her husband of many years. But again, they were poor. And it was their custom every day, every time that Shabbat rolled around, Friday afternoon, they would run to the market and buy fruits and vegetables for their Shabbat and come home to a pot of stew, which was more water than meat. But she always made a challah. She always made a challah for themselves and for maybe if someone in the neighborhood wanted a challah, she always made a challah for them. But all of a sudden, they were preparing for Shabbat, and there was a, that's good, there's a knock at the door. And at the door, there was a woman, a very tall woman, who was wearing rags, clothing made of different kinds of cloth. She looked disheveled, she looked a little poor, and she was carrying a very large sack. And it seemed very heavy. And she said, are you Rivka? And Rivka said, of course I'm Rivka. Who else would I be? And she said, I'm going on a journey, and I need someone to guard my samovar for me. And Rivka asked, oh, okay, what is a samovar? A samovar is a very large metal teapot, right? More a tea warmer, I think, would be more appropriate, although you make tea in a samovar. Samovars were coming from the old country. They were beautifully silver, many times ornate. But she had a samovar that she said, I need you to guard this for me. I'm taking a very long journey. And Rivka, being of such good heart, said, well, of course, I'd be happy to do that. So the woman brings the samovar into the sack, at least, and sets it down on the table. And Rivka turns to her and says, but what else do I need to know about it? But she had vanished into thin air. But there was the samovar sitting on this table, or this bag. So Rivka goes over to the samovar, this bag, opens it up, and there indeed is a beautiful samovar in this pot, or in this bag, but it's completely black. There is all kinds of dirt on it. The silver had not been polished, as you could see, in many years, and the tarnish was thick practically. And Rivka didn't know what to do, and she was wondering, what do I do with this samovar? Where shall I put it? Where shall I keep it? What shall I do with it? Suddenly, there was another knock at the door. And in at the door, there was a very poor gentleman. And the poor gentleman was poor because she knew him. She'd seen him around the neighborhood. And he was asking for some tzedakah before Shabbat started. So, of course, Rivka goes to their little kishka, which is the place where they keep their money, and she gives him a few coins. And then she sends him on his way. But then she turns to the samovar, and actually there was a little bit of a silver streak now appearing at the top of it, which hadn't been there before because she was looking at it all from all angles. But she saw that some of the silver had actually now begun to shine through. She didn't understand that at all. Suddenly, there was another knock at the door, and in comes Rachel. Rachel was a woman who lived in the neighborhood, some who was even poorer than Rivka and Haskell. And they talked for a little while because that's what they did. And at a certain point, Rivka said, would you like some challah for your Shabbat table? And she said, yes, I would very much, thank you. So Rachel took the challah. Rachel was given the challah that Rivka gave her, and she took the challah home with her. And Rivka was pleased because she could do a mitzvah for someone. And she turned and she saw that the samovar had actually now become a little bit more untarnished, that there was more silver showing from the top, and she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Suddenly, in runs Haskell. Now, Haskell ran a glove-making store. Talk about a specialty. He ran a store where he made gloves, because people in the old country needed gloves. And he said, you won't believe what happened. One of the commissars was riding by, and he took a look in my window and saw these gloves. Now, these gloves were old gloves, and they were, in fact, I was guarding them for someone else who had left them. And this commissar walks in and says, I want those gloves. How much for that pair of gloves? And before I could tell them they belonged to someone else, says Haskell, he said, I'll give you 10 crowns for those gloves. And Haskell was really embarrassed. He said, 10 crowns for these gloves? I mean, I don't know. And before Haskell says to Rivka, I was going to say, okay, 5 crowns for these gloves. But the commissar said, no, I'll give you 100 pounds. I'll give you 100 crowns. I'll give you 1,000 crowns for those gloves. They're the gloves I want. In fact, what I want you to do, I want you to make me 10 pairs of gloves just like that. And he placed an order and was on his way. And at that point, he said, wow, this person offered me so much money for these gloves. They're just gloves. But he really wanted it, and I said I would make them as gloves. And at that point, even they noted, Rivka then began to tell Haskell the story about the samovar, which was losing its tarnish and becoming shinier. And at that moment, she saw that it even had become more shiny. So she did not know what was going on, and Haskell didn't know what was going on. The next day, which was Shabbat, they rested. But on Sunday, they went to the market. Haskell went to his store. She went to buy things at the market. And Haskell said, you won't believe what happened. 10 people from the commissar's recommendation came in, and they each want 10 pairs of gloves, and they threw money on the counter. With all this money, you know what we should do with it? And Rivka says, yes, I do. We should take this money, and we should go help the poor people of our town. And they took the money, they went to buy vegetables and fruits, and they gave vegetables and fruits out to all the other people in the town who needed it. It was a very poor town. And they were standing there giving out fruits and vegetables, and everyone was thanking them, and the gratitude was flowing. They came home, and the teapot, the samovar, had lost almost half of its tarnish, and now it was beautifully silver, and they knew that something mysterious was going on. Well, Haskell went back to his shop, and because of the reputation he garnered for making beautiful gloves and beautiful things, that more people came into his shop, and more people spent money, and they became able to give more money to the poor, which is what they did. They didn't change their lifestyle, but they were able to help more people, which was what they had wanted to do from their heart. Slowly, slowly, over the years, the samovar lost all of its money. And about 7 years passed. Now the samovar is beautifully silver, and they're now proud to display it in their home. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and there is that woman from 7 years ago who had left the samovar with them. And she said, you may not remember me. And Rivka says, oh, I remember you very well. You're the woman who left the samovar with us. And she walks in the house, and she sees this beautiful, polished now, beautifully silver, completely untarnished samovar. And the woman says, oh, I see you've done good things with it. You've kept it very well. I tell you what you should do. You should keep it. I don't need it anymore. You should keep it. And Rivka says, well, what do you mean? And she turns to talk with her, and she disappears into thin air. And Haskell hears that story after Rivka tells it to him. And he says, you know what? I think maybe the prophet Elijah visited us. But the prophet Elijah didn't visit only us. But the prophet Elijah visited all the people in our town whom we were able to help. And Rivka says that is the story of this story. The fact is that we can help other people. If you think about it, we can prove our own largesse, and we give to other people, whether it's through our own efforts or even through the efforts of some mysterious stranger who brings us a samovar that needed polishing. And we have the ability to make good things happen, even over time and even over places. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Those people whom we think of now are people who are ill, people who have been in the hospital, people who have been at home recuperating from illness, from surgery perhaps. We have a number of people in our community for whom we pray, and we offer Misha Beirach as a prayer of healing and wholeness. It's on page 17 at the bottom of all of our print on that page. And there may be individuals here tonight who are also thinking of someone who needs a prayer of healing and wholeness. And again, as I like to say, we don't know exactly how God works in the realm of healing, but it has been shown that when a person knows that a community such as ours is praying on their behalf, they actually get stronger internally so that they can fight as well as they can and struggle through their illnesses and come back even stronger. So if you know of someone for whom you are saying Misha Beirach, or on those online, if you are with us and you know of someone who needs a prayer, imagine them in your heart. We imagine them in our hearts. And if you would like to offer their names as well, let us know whom you're thinking about, and we will offer prayers for them as well. As I look around the community, I'll start over here. When my eyes approximately meet yours, if you have a name to call out, we invite you to do so.
Thank you, Karen Bowman.
Esther Batzara, Joanne Papa.
join together for our Misha Be'erach, this prayer for healing and wholeness on page 17.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Our service continues on page 18 with Aleinu. We invite the community to rise for Aleinu, and we'll stand through the mourner's Kaddish that will come immediately following. Aleinu l'shabeach l'ador hakol, l'atei gdula l'yotzer b'reishit, shehu noten shamayim v'yosed aretz, u'moshav yikaro hashamayim ima'am, u'shechinat uzo v'godhei meronim, u'Eloheinu ein od, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malkei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. I'm reading on page 19. Let us rejoice in the light of day, in the glory and warmth of the sun, in the reawakening of life to duty and labor. We rejoice in the light of day. In the quiet night with its rest from toil and its revelation of worlds beyond the dark, we rejoice in the peace of night. In the earth with its hills and valleys, its widespread fields of grain, its fruits and hidden treasures, we rejoice in the beauty of the earth. We rejoice in the strength to win our daily bread, and in homes where we find refuge from the cold and storm. We rejoice in the shelter of home. In the love of fathers and mothers who have nurtured our lives, with whose blessing we have gone forth to our own work in the world. We rejoice in the love of parents. The children who bless our homes, whose eager minds and hearts are the promise of. We rejoice in the love of children. And the friends who share our sorrows and joys in the fullness of abundant life. We rejoice and will rejoice forevermore. On this evening, we have those many people in our thoughts and minds who are with us tonight. Because even though they are no longer a part of this world, they remain in our hearts a blessing. They remain in our hearts dear. These are those whom we are remembering at this time. Our community's recent losses. We remember Daniel Sinekin, husband of Sherry Cooper Sinekin. We remember Sandra Golden, mother of Robert Golden and David Golden, and grandmother of Leah and Sarah Golden. We remember Alan Orenberg, partner of Marilyn Graves, father of Kate Orenberg and Rachel Charlin, and grandfather of Cecilia and Wyatt. We remember a beloved member of this community, also Janice Kaplan, wife of Richard Kaplan of blessed memory, mother of Alan Kaplan, grandmother of Ian and Finnegan. And we remember also Bill Cecil, grandfather of Ellen Cecil Lemkin, and great-grandfather of Harrison and Theodore Cecil Lemkin, who passed away just yesterday. And these are the Yahrzeichen that we remember at this time, our continuing love and devotion is also in our memories for these people. We recall Peter Block, Louis A. Bress, Betty Cooper, Jeffrey Clay Erlanger, John Fantle, Elizabeth Gallistel, Ben Goodman, Min Halperin, Lily Hubbard, Edith Kalin, Harry Kay, Paul Kortzinski, Sedel Levin Chickerell. I hope I pronounced that. Sedel, thank you. Sedel Levin Chickerell. Bradley McMillan, Roy Meyer, Jacob Mintz, Faye Orenstein, Elaine Parker, Bertha W. Perlman, Judy Prager, Jack Ross, Bernard Schoenemann, Richard Siegel, Sharon Steiner, Aaron Sweetman, Harriet Totis McGuckin, Florence Traubenberg, Theodore Wallach, Saul I. Waxman, Rose Waldenberg, and Irvin J. Youngerman. Those are people whom we knew about who are observing yard sites and we are remembering because of their recent passings. But there may be people in this community tonight who are similarly remembering loved ones whose names were not on our Kaddish list. And starting perhaps from this side and going in this direction, if you would like to offer the name of someone whom you are remembering on this night, we invite you to do so.
Dr. Paula Gelber Jr.
Zichronam livracha, as we say, may their memories be blessings in our hearts and the hearts and minds of all those who knew and loved them. Testifying to the faith that binds the generations of humanity together, we invite us now all to offer the Mourner's Kaddish, which is on page 20. Please join one another. Yitgadal
Kadash Shemei Rabba, Yamati Barach Yurtei Yamili Malkutei, V'chayechon Uv'mechon, V'chayev V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agalav V'zman Kariv V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Omein Maya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yita'ar V'yitroman V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalav, Shemei D'Kusha B'richu, Leila Mikol Birachata V'shirata, Tushbakata V'nechemata, Da'amirat Yamal V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Uyaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yosef Tevel, V'yimru, Amen.
May God send peace to all who mourn and comfort those who remember and who are bereaved on this night. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Our service is about to conclude, and when it does, we're going to invite Elijah and his family in just a moment to come and help us with blessings over the fruit of the vine and challah. And there's a little more nosh left, so be sure to take something on your way as we clean up. And we thank you all for coming out on this gorgeous night. Primarily, we want to make community. We also are so glad to be able to be together on this at this place where we can all be together, and it's open and it's free. And I'm not calling anybody out necessarily, but if you wore a mask, and you did, now tonight you don't have to wear a mask necessarily. So we get to see your beautiful face, and so we're glad of that as well. A few brief announcements for everybody here. First of all, tomorrow morning there is Torah study at 9 o'clock, online and in person. In person at Bethel, online on Zoom. At 10:30 tomorrow morning, also in person and streaming, will be the adult B'nai Mitzvah of 3 people in our community who are wonderfully have learned, and at the tutelage of Linda Rivitz, who's one of our board members and a long time active member of our temple. But please, if you're invited to, you are invited to come and see and participate with Kathy Klessig, Christina Lecter, and Lynn Berger as we celebrate these three individuals who have studied and become Benot Mitzvah, B'nai Mitzvah, for us. Let's see, is Linda Rivets here tonight?
No.
No, okay. Just wanted to see if she was here. We would thank her in person. But we thank Stephanie for offering the tech tonight for support. Stephanie Kushner, thank you all for coming out. We also really want to be sure to thank Jeff Levy, our member, who provided a beautiful pre-service Oneg Shabbat here tonight. June is a number of different things. June is Pride Month nationally, maybe even internationally. If you saw the coverage in the news, you know that there were pride parades in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, I think in Haifa there were, and all over Israel, and there was some contention, so please keep up on the news as to what's happening in Israel. I also reflect on the fact that a week from tonight, our Israel travelers from Beth El, we have about 28 people are accompanying Cantor, Jacob, and me. And we're going to Israel, 30 of us. And 2 weeks from tonight, we'll also have an outdoor. There are some people here who are going to Israel, thankfully. And so 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be sitting in a similar kind of configuration in downtown Jerusalem, well, near the outskirts of downtown Jerusalem, where the train station used to be. And we'll be having Kabbalat Shabbat outdoors as well. So I'm reflecting on that beautiful possibility 2 weeks from tonight. So that would be fun. But next Friday, we do have Pride Shabbat, which we'll be observing at 6:30 p.m. We have a Pride party. Please join us for some exhibits and some nice nosh. And at 7:30 p.m., a special Pride Shabbat service. Next Saturday morning, in continuing our observance of Pride Shabbat, Cantor Jacob will offer a special Torah study at 9 o'clock on the title of Queering the Text, Finding Meaning in LGBTQ plus Perspectives on Torah. So please join us for that. Again, that's in person or online. In person at Temple, online on Zoom. Next Saturday morning, we have the pleasure of welcoming to our Bima Elijah Blitz, who becomes a bar mitzvah. Yes, right over there. And in a second, we'll call you up and you can help us with the kiddush. But also, next Saturday evening at 6:30 p.m., please join us at Temple Beth El for Friends and Family Face-Off, which is a sort of a trivia game, quiz game, where you get together with teams and do great things. And please join us for that. For all the things that are, you can register online for that still, right? So you can register online, and please do. And you can also go to our website and get on to the Zoom for tomorrow's and next Saturday's Torah study. Our streaming of services for tomorrow and for next Saturday for our B'nai Mitzvah, they're also available on streaming. So please join us for all of that. I traditionally ask if there's anybody who wants to make an announcement. I have another one to make. This coming Sunday, I forgot. It's not on my list. But this coming Sunday, we have our Temple's annual meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Please join us for a little brunch. At 11 o'clock, we have our annual meeting and volunteer recognition. So please join us for that. I really encourage folks to come out and participate with the community as we celebrate another year under our belts as a Temple Beth El community. Judy.
So I want to thank Sydney for wearing orange, and Mark and I are wearing orange for anti-violence, anti-gun violence. So again, thank you, Rabbi, for everything.
Absolutely. And especially want to thank Sydney Fine, who is with us tonight as our guest vocalist. So please be sure to thank her for all the work that she put in for tonight. We're going to conclude our service with a song, and then we have Kiddush and Motzi, and I'll sort of motion you guys to come up when the time is right. But if you want to look at page 22, Od Yavo Shalom, page 22. 23.
Shalom Aleinu, Oribo Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akulam. Oribo Shalom Aleinu, Oribo Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akulam. Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akulam. Shalom Aleinu. Oivo Shalom Aleinu. Oivo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'akulam. Oivo Shalom Aleinu. Oivo Shalom Aleinu. Oivo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'akulam.
Before we say Kiddush, remember, at the end of the service, if a few folks could collect up the Sidurim, the prayer books, and just sort of keep them together. And remember to say hello to someone whom you don't know. I'm going to hold you to that. So on page 24 is the Kiddush for this Friday evening, and the motzi at the bottom.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafen. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzahanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon yifilanu zikaron le'maaseh b'reishit kilu yom tehillah le'mikra'ei kodesh Tzivot Mitzrayim Kibanu B'chata Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Ha'amim V'shabbat Koshecha Ve'ahava u'ratzon Kinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat L'chaim.
And at the bottom of the page is the motzi for, presumably, people may have more food coming up, so we'll say motzi. Here, take a little piece of challah. We'll ask Elijah and his family in just a second to pass. Take two more for you guys over there. And let's offer kiddush, motzi together. And we have more challah here, and I think there's more challah over there as well. Ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'alon.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah,